Guinea-Bissau is a beautiful West African country, but it has one of the most unstable political systems in the world. To understand why a coup could happen, we must understand the long, deep problem that have existed for more than 5 decades. Guinea-Bissau, a small West African country with a big history of political trouble, a place where leaders fall, government collapse, and the military often step in. On the 26th of November 2025, the country shook again. Today, we investigate what really pushed Guinea-Bissau to another military takeover. What made that day exploded the way it did? This is the simple story behind a very complex crisis. Guinea-Bissau has had more than 10 coups and coup attempts since independence in 1974. This is not new. This is a long, painful pattern. Government comes and goes. President fall. Prime ministers are fired. Parliaments open, then close, then open again. The country institutions are weak. The police lack resources. The courts are not trusted. And the military has too much power. Now you see, people struggle every given day. Jobs are few. Food is very, very expensive. Families depend on cash farming. And if the price deepen, poverty rise overnight. And in the background, hidden but powerful drug traffickers uses Guinea-Bissau as a transit point for cocaine headed to Europe.
Almost 40% of the country's 2 million people live in extreme poverty, suffering the consequences of corruption and drug trafficking. Guinea-Bissau has long been a hub for cocaine transiting between South America and Europe, with drugs often entering the country via its islands. It's the only African country to be labelled a narco-state by the United Nations, a term used when a country's government, judiciary and military are all deemed to have been infiltrated by drug cartels, and when part of the government plays an active role in running the trade.
All this trouble create a dangerous mix, a country always standing on one leg and just one push. Months before November 2025, the tension in Guinea-Bissau was rising once again. The president and the parliament were not getting along. They fought over who had the right to appoint ministers, over who controlled the army, and over who really had powers. Corruption, accusations were everywhere. Opposition groups said government officials are stealing money, and government supporters said otherwise. People protested, police responded as usual, sometimes with force, sometimes with fear. Inside the military, soldiers complained quietly as their salary continued to delay. Poor housing, no equipment, favoritism from the top. Many felt forgotten, many felt angry. Everyone could feel the heat that something was coming.
Decide depor imediatamente o Presidente da República, encerrar até a novas ordens todas as instituições da República da Guiné-Bissau.
And the coup, as we all know, coup don't just fall from the thin air. It didn't just appear just like a ghost from somewhere. There is always a spark and a moment where everything breaks. For Guinea-Bissau, several dangerous possibilities were building, like we just talked about. A power struggle over who controlled the army. The president trying to replace certain military officers. Rumors of arrest planned against senior commanders. A dispute election plan. more corruption accusation, and rising fear of drug network influencing politics again. Any of these could ignite the crisis. And by November 2025, the pressure was too much to ignore when the leaders stopped trusting the military and the military also stopped trusting the leaders. The country became a ticking bomb, which you can see on the 26th of November 2025, before the sunrise. Unusual movement began in Bissau. Social units left their barracks quietly, roads leading to the presidential palace were blocked, radios and TV stations saw soldiers at their gates. Military trucks moved through the capital, everyone worrying for their dear life. But by mid-morning, the presidential guard was surrendered. Some soldiers were reportedly refusing to fight. Others stepped aside. The president was taken into custody, as it was reported on media, but completely powerless. Now you see, a few hours later, a group of officials appeared on national television. A transition. End of quote. Across Guinea-Bissau, reactions were mixed. Some people cheered, some cried. People stayed indoors, scared for their lives. Most of them, their shops have already been closed. Schools are already emptied. The streets fell in silence. And as you all know, international community like ECOWAS, the UN, the AU, and the rest all condemn the actions by the military and demand a return to civilian rule. But for many in Guinea-Bissau, the damage had already been done.
The Secretary General is following the situation with deep concern. He appeals to all national stakeholders in Guinea-Bissau to exercise restraint and respect the rule of law. The Secretary General will continue to closely follow the situation in the country as it unfolds.
So, why did this happen in the first place? Not because of one problem, but because of many problems coming all together. Guinea-Bissau has struggled with political fight for decades, like I said earlier. Leaders don't trust each other, parties don't work together, institutions are too weak to stop chaos. And to worsen all, the economy keeps people poor and frustrated. And the military always feel like the last option, which is the reason why all of this happened yesterday. And to add salt to the injury is the shadow of drug trafficking. And you have a very fragile country. When everything breaks at the same time, politics, economy, trust, security, a coup becomes almost predictable. This is the sad story of Guinea-Bissau. Thank you for watching.